Thank you very much, guys. Good afternoon. Is my eyes distracting? I wonder if there are days where you think to have sex with yourself. I don't know if you ever questioned the possibility of making offspring of yourself. With yourself. All by yourself. I'm not talking about physical children. My core aim today is to leave you with one pressing concept. And that is to question the several possibilities of self-reinvention that can be birthed through you as a person. Can you truly reinvent yourself? If no, why? If yes, how many times can you go through self-reinvention? Once, twice, thrice? Is there a cap to the number of times that you can reinvent yourself? Just so that it doesn't start to look irritating. The most dominant memory I have of myself in primary school is my restlessness. I was so annoyingly restless that on the day where everybody had decided I would be a prefect, my headmaster called me on stage and said, "You are supposed to be a prefect, but Ara Bale," which in Yoruba loosely translates to, "You are just too restless." I went back to join my mates on the assembly line without any shame. See, I was so shameless that I had not even realized that being walked down from the stage to meet my mates on the assembly line without any prefectship in hand was something to be ashamed of. But restlessness is a good thing. Restlessness is what? It's a good thing. It dares you to explore your innermost self, either physically or mindly. It was the first tool in my journey of reinvention. For without it, I would have settled into a beautifully decorated life of luxurious frustration. I got into secondary school and with 5 core responsibilities: music director of the Hostels Chapel, president of the press club, active member of the debates club, active member of the drama club, and guess what? The most popular title in school, the social prefect. But the weird thing is that every expression I have just listed out to you was from a boy who was in science class. I would later in life wonder, what were my teachers thinking? To put me in science class, they probably saw no worries since I was doing averagely well. But these were the subjects in which I was doing exceptionally well: biology, geography, Yoruba language, English language. These subjects have in common words. Our higher education books were always filled with bulky notes from these classes, and while others found them overwhelming, I loved them, as long as they had little to no form of figures or calculation. Just all words. I loved words. Words were easy for me, you can tell. I could read them easily. I could come up with them easily. And I understood them easily. And that brings me to the second tool. I wish I had discovered it earlier. Ease. Latch onto the easiest part of you. The most naturally gifted part of you. No matter how ugly and unglamorous you think it is. Despite all this I just told you, guess who still went into university to study for a Bachelor of Science in Geology? And this was the reason. My dad, who is a professor of criminology, And my mom, who is a deputy registrar, had learned that one of their colleagues' son is studying geology to earn plenty money in Shell. So it only made sense that I also will study geology so that I can earn plenty money in Shell. In fact, at the start of my first year, my mom would later find out about a seemingly superior course to geology, geophysics, and she wanted me to change. I had to use all the tears in me to plead. Because at the sound of physics, I knew I was definitely not going to graduate. And God forbid that the first son of a PhD holder and a senior administrative officer in the same university would be a failure. You're about to say Kamari. Again, I did have in my course. I did averagely well. But the most meaningful bonds I made were the ones I made in a community that helped me discover my depth and creativity. I found out that for some weird reason, if any of my friends had any idea, either stupid or smart, I was the first person I would build the idea. And after they hear my response, they'll say, wow, you have such a deep mind. As a matter of fact, I didn't know I was deep until my friend, Jedi, started using that term to qualify me. I didn't even know I could lead a choir in university until my friend Damilola handed over to me and said, Samora, forget this thing. You show me die, you go do it. And I ended up being one of the most memorable music directors and creative minds in my campus fellowship. And that would bring me to my third tool of self-reinvention. Find. Find your truest bond and believe everything they say. The hard work here is for you to find it. Find your truest bonds and believe everything they say. So now that the first son in a family of five, whose African parents were deeply rooted in the academia, had obtained his BSc, what was the next thing for me to do? Get my master's. Enrolled in the prestigious University of Ibadan to study, wait for it, master's in petroleum geology and sedimentology. It sounded, at this point, my parents didn't even care what the course would be. They just wanted me to have master's. Bear in mind that the only reason I chose petroleum geology and sedimentology was simply because the sedimentology course I did in my undergraduate was filled with a lot of words. So I said, oh, that would be easy. And in Nigeria, we have that negative fixture of not being able to pursue a postgraduate course outside your BSc. But from my first day in postgraduate school, it was miserable. In fact, I would walk into class and look at my fellow classmates and say, kí ló ń dùn láwọn eléyìí báyìí?" Meaning, what's making these ones happy? Because I could just never understand how the study of sedimentary basins and stratigraphy would make people happy. But it wasn't them, it was me. My friend Busayo, he would always say to me without any form of remorse, "They waste your life." He said, no. I would look at him, nod in affirmation, and say, I know, I did waste. You see, it got to a point where I said, I'm tired. I got so tired one day, and I decided it was time to abandon this thing. I had completed the coursework. The only thing I needed to do was to complete the thesis to defend it. But I was so tired that it felt that if I did one more day studying sedimentology, I would die. That's it. Here's another one for you. Get tired. Get tired of living a lie. Force yourself into tiredness. You won't manufacture a new you. if you have not allowed yourself the desperation of tiredness. What happened after my tiredness? I soaked my pillow in hot tears, premium, everlasting tears. Then I picked up my phone and typed into Google, what corporate career path can a good writer pursue? That singular act led me to birth the following children: copywriting, content writing, and eventually marketing communications. I shamelessly borrowed money from both friends and enemies just to gain proper training to birth these children. And while I was in class learning these skills, I never for once had the cause to look at my newfound classmates and say, "Kí ló ń dùn ún yín báyìí?" I was happy to be there. It was my natural habitat. And immediately, once I gave birth to those first children, it was now easy to give birth to my next set of children. The innate gift I had of building people's ideas started asking for our own children also. And so again, through trainings, I gave birth to technical project management, business analysis, and ultimately product management. We all make attempts at self-reinvention. We should not be scared of the possible outcome. Allow your mind to be restless when you see that it wants to be restless. Don't cage it. Lean into the most natural thing to your humanity. Don't validate your strength using popular glamour. Know what? Strength is strength. Do the hard work of being a true person. Be a true person to people. Take it further and find true people. Because on days when you can't explain your journey, their words will be your compass. Force yourself to get tired. There will be no new version of you until the old one is tired. I am not done reinventing myself. I mean, just a little over 2 years ago, I decided it was time to reinvent my body. Because I mean, what is the beauty of this 6'6" height without some pack of muscles? I got into the gym, did the work extensively, and now I can tell you, I am a lorry load of muscles. I also have an obsession with power bikes. Don't ask me if I know how to drive an Okada yet. That's a story for another day. I'm still going to do something with my singing, maybe on my poetry album. I still allow my mind go restless into areas of fashion, modeling, cooking, and event management. See, multi-potentialites are not extraordinarily magical creatures. Don't allow yourself get trapped in that grammar. They are just mere humans who pour themselves into the great work of doing, of reinventing themselves over, and over again. I really think it's something you can do. In fact, I think it's something you should do. To rid yourself of that exciting lie that makes you think you can't reinvent yourself.